So this is the video key for Power Standard number 6 in Math 3. This is all about using technology to solve these problems. So we're going to be jumping back and forth between this sheet and our Calculate84 app. If you don't have the Calculate84 app on your iPad, please make sure you download it. It is free. This is what we're going to be using. So I'm going to show you all the stuff and how to do it there. Alright, so let's get to it. I've already written down all these problems on a piece of paper so I can refer back to it without having to jump back and forth to help save you from getting sick by motion sickness. Alright, so here's our Calculate84 app. First thing we want to do is go into the y equals button, which are already there, and type in our equation. We're going to type it in just the way we saw it on the piece of paper. So it's 0.4, times x plus 3, quantity to the third power. Oh, it's squared. There we go. All right, and then 1 minus x squared. Okay, so we're going to hit graph because we do want to see what the graph looks like. I'm going to turn the iPad side or up and down so you can see it better. All right, and then we're going to go back to our other thing and then kind of look at what draw a sketch of the graph. Okay, that's the first thing we're going to do. So it looks a little bit like this. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it's got to look somewhat like it's supposed to. Okay. All right, now what we want to do is find the y-intercept. So we're going to show you how to go back and do that. Okay, so there was our graph. Now to find the y-intercept, actually pretty simple. We're going to hit second, and then we're going to hit graph. You'll notice on the top of graph it says table. And it's going to give us a table of values. Now you'll notice that in this table, the x, where x is 0, it's already highlighted pink. Well, that corresponding y value is your y-intercept. Okay, so we got 10.8. So we go back to our sheet here. The y-intercept. I'm going to make it a point. I'm not going to be too picky when we do the master exam, but the point for the y-intercept is going to be 0, 10.8. And that's it. You are done. By showing those things, showed me that you could navigate your calculator and find the answers. All right. Number 2. We have this equation. We want to find the x-intercepts this time. Okay, and we're going to round it 2 decimal places if we need to. All right, so let's go back to our Calculate84 app. We're going to go back to the y equals button. We're going to clear out of that equation. We're going to write in the new one. So we have 2 divided by 3 times x plus 3 times x minus 5. And then, oops, minus 9. There we go. So that's our equation. We're going to graph this. I'm going to turn it sideways again to get a better idea. So it looks like it's going to be a parabola. All right, let's go back to the other sheet. We'll draw that in. That's good. All right, now we want to find the x-intercepts. So let's go back to our app here. Oops, sorry. I'm going to hit second and trace for the calc. See, it says that we're given a menu of items here. We want 2. We want the zeros. Okay, so you'll see it says left bound. We're going to use the arrow buttons to make that x that's over there on the right-hand side of the graph. You can see it moving down. We're going to make it go left and around. And we're going to make it so you can see the zeros are where the graph crosses the x-axis. Okay, so we're going to go left of that spot and hit enter. Then we're going to go right of that spot and hit enter again. And you'll notice right here it says our 0. All right, at the bottom it says x is equal to negative 4.43. All right. All right, so that's one of them, but we want to find the other one too. So we're going to do this again. So we're going to hit second and trace. We're going to again hit 0. All right, which is number 2. Now we're going to go left bound. We're going to go to the other side and see where it crossed the x-axis. So our x is moving. There it is. Now left bound is going to be down here for where the x is. So it sees that red line where it's the left of that point where it crosses the x-axis. We're going to go right bound, which is a little bit past the line, right there. And we can see again on the bottom left-hand corner of our screen, it has zeros. It gives you an x sub 1 equals value, and it is 6.43. So we're going to take those two numbers, and we're going to put them into our problem over here. So I'm going to draw them as points, or write them as points. You don't necessarily have to. I'm not going to be that picky on the master exam. So the first one is negative 4.43 comma 0, and the other one is 6.43 comma 0. So those are the two x-intercepts of our graph. Okay. Next, we have an equation. We want to find the relative minimum over the interval -6 to 2. So we're going to show you how to find that. So go back to our calculator. We're going to y equals. We're going to clear out that equation. We're going to write the new one in. It is -0.25. A lot of times people put negative or a minus sign. It really should be a negative, not a minus sign. It looks like a minus sign, but technically it's a negative. Okay, they work like each other, but there is subtle differences. Then we have x minus 9. Then we have x plus 8. Then we have x minus 1. So those are our values. We're going to hit graph. Okay. Basically, because I know the way the graphs are going, I'm going to show you what this looks like. I'm going to actually zoom out and see if I can't help out seeing what it looks like. Let's see if we can't zoom a little bit. For some reason, I'm able to pinch out, but I can't go in. I don't know why. All right, that's the best I can do. Okay. Anyway, let's go back and sketch our graph. It looks something like this. Okay, that's good enough for what we're doing. All right, so let's go back and do our our minimum over that specific interval. So our interval, let's back up. To find the minimum, we're going to do the same kind of thing we just did to find the x-intercepts. We're going to hit second and trace. Again, we have this menu. We want to find the minimum, so we're going to pick 3. All right, it says left bound. Well, we already got values to find between. So we're going to use -6. We're going to put that in there. We're going to type in -6. We're going to hit enter twice. And now you see on the top it says right bound. And we go on to be -2. We're going to hit enter twice. And then it gives us the minimum point on the bottom there. Okay, so we can read it. In the bottom left-hand corner of the window, it says -4.24. And then it says, comma, -65.21. All right, we want the y value. All right, the -65 number. So we're going to go back to our page and then type that or write that in. So we have -65.21 is the minimum. Okay. We don't need to use the window axis because we don't need to see it. All right, number 4. Again, we have an equation. We want to find the minimum point. So we're going to go back to our Calculate 84 app. Click on the y equals button and clear out that equation. We're going to type in the new one. So we have x to the 4th plus 7x cubed minus 8x squared plus 12x minus 10. Again, we're going to graph that. All right, so let's see if I can do this again. Zoom out a little bit, if I can. Let's do this. That's kind of a graph. We fit it into the page. Okay, so if we do this, let's go back. That's what our graph kind of looks like. It's a little bit goofy because you'll notice on the y-axis numbers, they're very big. Okay, so we're going to go and do this graph on our sheet. Looks a little bit like this. Oops. Okay, and now we're going to find the minimum point. So it's between, no, it doesn't say. We're just going to find the absolute minimum. Okay, so it's going to be on the left side, so it's going to be helping us to see that it's over on the left-hand side there by that point. So we're going to hit second and trace. We're going to find the minimum, which is 3. So we're going to make our x go to the left of our minimum number, or the lowest point of our graph. It's probably there is a good spot. We're going to hit enter. Then we're going to go to the right side. We're going to enter. It's going to tell us what the minimum is. So you can see there the y value on the bottom left-hand corner of that of the window is negative 586. Okay, so we go back to our sheet, our review sheet, and we put down negative 586. There we go. All right, 2 more. These two, we're going to find the intersection point between those two equations. So go back to our calculated 4 app. We're going to hit the y equals button and clear out that equation. Now we have 2 equations to put in. So we have 3x plus 2. And we have negative, we have negative 1 divided by 5, x minus 9. I'm going to graph those two. I'm going to go to zoom and then fit it. See if that works better. Oh, it looks much better. All right, so let's go back to our review sheet and then put those lines down as our sketch. So it looked like this. We want to find the intersection point. So going back to our calculated 4 app, so we're going to hit second and trace one more time. You can see number 5, it says intersect. So we're going to hit 5. All right, left bound, it looks like the x is already left of the intersection point, so we're going to hit enter. Then right bound, we're going to go to the right and enter again. It's going to tell us what the intersection point is. This time we need both parts. So it's negative 3.44, comma, negative 8.31. So that is going to be our point that we're going to write down on our review sheet. So we have negative 3.44 and negative 8.31. Okay, the last one, same idea. We're going to find the intersection between those two graphs. So you go back to our calculated 4 app. We're going to delete both of those, clear those both out, and write our new equations. We have 0.1 x plus 4 x minus 3 and x minus 7. That's the first equation. The second one is 1/2 x plus 2. All right, and we're going to graph that. It's going to look like this. I'm going to zoom and see if I can get it hit 0. There we go. That's about as best as we're going to get. All right, you'll notice in this case something strange happens. There are 3 intersection points, okay, where that blue graph crosses that black line. All right, so we're going to find all 3, okay? But before we do that, we're going to go back to our our review sheet. and sketch these graphs. So we have a line that goes like this, a line that goes like this. So we're going to find all 3 points of intersections. Okay, so we're going to hit second and trace, 5 for intersection. So we're going to go from left to right. So we're going to make those two X's go to the left of the first intersection point, hit enter, then go to the right, hit enter again. So the first one, you can see down there is -4, 0. That's the first one. So we're going to find all of them before we go back. All right, we're going to do this again. So second, trace. We're going to hit 5 for intersect. We're going to go to the next intersection point. Left is there. To the right of that is there. That's going to give us an intersection point. It says 2, 3. In the bottom left-hand corner of the window where it says intersection. And then last one, second trace again, hitting 5 for intersect. Left of the point is there. Right of the point is about there. And again, we have, we're going to do, I'm going to be nice and round up. It says 7.99. I'm just going to call that 8, 6, just for the heck of it. All right, so going back, we have our 3 intersection points. We have -4, 0. We have 2, 3. We have 8, 6. And there you go. That is using your technology, the Calculator 84 app, to solve these questions.